Chapter 14 is on control structures, exceptions, and regular expressions. Some of this we've talked about already, okay? The control structure stuff, do I have to tell you any of these? Equality, switch, you know all that stuff, right? All right. We'll look at that invoice application. I've talked to you a little bit about exceptions, but we'll look at those. I've talked to you a little bit about regular expressions, and we'll look at those. All right? So, now, this you may know, you may not know.
var x equals 7. Var y equals 7. Var, if x equal y. My question for you, this, is it true or is it false?
It actually is true because all it says is, do they hold the same value? Not are they equal. If I want to say not only do they hold the same value, are they the same type of data? Guess what? You use 3 equal signs. 3 equal signs is called the identity operator. It says, are they the same thing and do they hold the same type of data? See the difference? So this, you're right, that's true. This is false. Does that make sense? Now, next semester we'll go over C#. They don't have one like that. Then we'll go over Java. They don't have one like that. One language we don't do in here is PHP. That works the same way. So different languages handle this stuff differently. All right. I think we've talked about break and continue. So switch, are you comfortable looking at that? Does that make sense to you? You've used switches before. I've seen them in your programs. Case statements, switch statements, right? Okay. The conditional operator, you may or may not know about this one. Virtually every programming language has this. All right? What do I mean? Well, I'm going to come through here and I'm going to say this. Var x equals 51. Var y equals 43. Var x. And then I'm going to say if x is greater than or equal to y, max equals x. Else, max equal y. Does that make sense? All right. Another way you can rewrite this, and you can do this in virtually any kind of programming language, I'm going to keep these 3 statements the same. All right, but I'm going to say here, max equals x, I don't use the word if, I'm sorry, equals x greater than or equal to y. If it's true, x, and if it's false, y. See the difference? Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines of code, 1 line of code. And when you do this, what it's saying is, if this is true, if true, take whatever comes after the question mark and assign it to there. If it's false, take whatever is there and assign it. See that? Now, if you say, that's confusing, don't use it. We had a big discussion years ago. I was at a conference, and one of the teachers there, they opened it up for questions, and one of the teachers said, I got a question. We all, I'm sure, go over this question mark colon operator. Does anybody actually use it? And one guy raised his hand and he said, I use it 2 ways. If I want to differentiate between odd and even, I do that. And if I want to say there was 1 page in the document or there were 2 pages in the document, see the difference? Having an S and not having, he said other than that, and that's pretty much everybody agreed. We don't use that very often, right? But there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, the operator works just fine. And if you like it, wow, use it. All right. Notice in here, this is a very different language. You can, all right, we use what? Or, and we use and, right? So you know how to use those. All right. You also know this. How that's a shortcut for if state equal true. And this is if selected equal false. Virtually every programming language allows you to do that. All right. So here's an invoice application. This one isn't bad. Okay, so notice here we've got customer type. That's going to be a drop-down list. There's your invoice total. Based on the type of customer you are, that's the percentage of a discount that you'll get. Does that make sense? So for instance, if I go and I contact a company and let's just say they sell screwdrivers, and just thought of that, and I say I want 10 of them. They're like, wow, if you buy 10 or more, we'll give you a 10% discount. Okay, so they regularly cost me $20 each, and I save $2 on each one. That makes sense? Now, if I come in there as Walmart and I go, I want 2,000 of those, they'll probably say, well, we'll give you a $30,000 or 30% discount, because when you buy that many, that's the max discount we can give you. I mean, and let's face it, I'm sure you know this. Isn't that how Walmart makes its money? They buy stuff in bulk. Sam's is the same way. All right. So you'll notice everything they want to manipulate has an ID. And then for the JavaScript, the type of customer you are. Regular customer, loyal customer. So regular customer, if they buy less than $100 worth, no discount. They buy between 100 and 250, 10%. Between 250 and 500, 25%. More than 500, 30%. Make sense? If you're a loyal, you always get 30%. If you're an honored, you get 40% if you buy less than 500, or greater than or equal to 500, you get half off. That would be, again, more or less like a Walmart. Exceptions. I think we've talked about these a little bit, and I've mentioned to you that if somebody has an exception in a program, it's an exception to the rule. It's something not normal. So it's not a good thing. Okay? And typically, the way that you would do these is you would use what are called Trycatch. Now, I don't expect that to make a lot of sense. We will have a whole chapter on that next semester. And it's used virtually exactly like this. So what the try is, you put inside of this try block, and I say block because it's got curly braces in it, something that could fail. If all this stuff succeeds, right here, then you do this, and you never do anything in here. If you try doing this and either this fails or this fails, you go in here and you never do this. Does that make sense? Again, even if you say it does, but I probably won't remember it, it's not a big thing. Because we will be writing stuff where we're working with error objects a lot next semester. All right? What we're going to do next semester, now somebody, and I'm just saying this, I'm not trying to be funny, I'm not sitting there trying to pump you up, but I think you're very bright. And I think that when we do this next semester, and we're doing some a payroll application, can't we go on and do something else? I could see you feeling that way. But we're going to keep adding features and functionality to it, and more, and more, and more. And again, for you, hopefully Maya, and at least it sounds like 2 other people. According to Jeremy, he's got 2 other ones that have applied. So he's hoping there'll be at least 6. So me too. All right, and the last thing that's discussed in the chapter are regular expressions. We've talked a little bit about these. I just want to mention this to you. You've seen this already. I'm saying it to you again. Remember when we did this HTML5pattern.com? You'll probably need that for your last test. Just telling you. Okay? And you may want to read this. There's different ways that you can do regular expressions. What I'm going to show you tomorrow, it will be all on this stuff. In other words, we'll use what's called the JavaScript match function. So we will look at whatever you put in for a social security number. We'll say, does it match number, dash, number, dash, number. If it does, it's cool. If it doesn't, it doesn't work. Does that make sense? And then you should be able to do the same kind of thing on the test with like a phone number. Does that make sense? Okay. These are the special characters that you can use with regular expressions. You won't have to worry about any of those this semester. None of them. Patterns, etc. The ones that you might care about are not even shown here. But, for instance, if I do this, let's say that I set a phone number, and I wanted to have it set up where you could either say number, dash, number, or three numbers for an area code, number, dash, number. Make sense? So you could either have, you either had to set it up like this, area code, number, like that, or like this. All right? Technically, then it can have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The problem is if we use that one and we put 8 to 12, it would take this and anything between there. It's not typically what you're going to want. So they give a good example here on the bottom of the page. See that? 3 digits, a dash, 3 digits, a dash, 4 digits, or this. So what you can do is you can say this pattern or the other pattern. All right? And again, you're not doing anything nearly that complex this semester. We'll look at stuff like this next semester. All right. You typically do use this stuff for data validation. This is a page you might want to have open when you take the test. Finally, they've got this account profile application. Isn't this very similar to stuff we've already done? But you will be doing some of this stuff. So if you get stuck when you're taking the test, again, you may want to go and take a look at the JavaScript there that's on page 429. All right? And that's it. So tomorrow, I will go over with you how to work with browser objects, cookies, and web storage. And then we'll also look at arrays, which are a little bit more complex. I know we've looked a little bit at those already. Questions? All right, that's all I've got. So you get lab the rest of the period here.